Yes, welcome to Bikes of Rye. Let's talk about 2 years of ownership with my 2020 Triumph Street Triple 765 RS. However, I must apologise in advance. It is a very windy day, please forgive me. But I want to answer common questions that I have had on my YouTube channel and my Instagram over the 2 years of ownership. And so I want to touch on 5 things. That's going to be reliability, performance, comfort, costs of ownership, and then I'll just give you an overall summary of those 2 years. So stick around, hope you enjoy this one. Okay, so first up then, reliability. Well, the first standout for me was the fact that the bike was cutting out when I first got it. I have had people ask me this, and they suffer from the same thing, so it wasn't just my bike. And what it was, you pull the clutch in as you're coasting, particularly in like say second or third gear, the engine would just cut out as it went to an idle. Bike did receive a software update, and since that software update the bike has never done it ever since. The second fault that can happen from time to time is when you turn the ignition on, sometimes the TFT display will go fuzzy, so we'll just let it load up and it's working correctly. But yeah, at times it has been known to not work. So what you do is you just turn the ignition off, turn it back on, and it typically solves the issue. They have been known, Triumph, to replace these screens because they've gone faulty. So, you know, obviously if you get a brand new one, it's 2 years warranty. If it happens to you, then please go ahead and speak to your dealership. Third thing is, and I've mentioned this on another video, is there is a key in here under your seat. I'm trying to do this one-handed, but basically it goes there and it's to adjust your front forks. I've removed mine, but they are known to literally drop out and fall out the bike on your travels, and they are extremely rare. I'm lucky to have one. But yeah, the tool basically adjusts your front forks there. Quite clever, but it isn't in there very securely. So if you get one and you have one, remove it straight away or use some sellotape to secure it in there. So this isn't actually a reliability issue, but I had a recall for the front brake pads. This has obviously been done, and I received a letter from Triumph to advise me that it needed to be done, so I made sure I got it done straight away, because the fault was that the backing plate of the brake pad was known to basically crumble or pull apart from the braking material. If you do have one of these bikes, make sure you check it out with your local dealership. Make sure obviously that has been done, because a pretty big deal. So comfort wise, right, so we've got a seat height of 825 millimeters. I'm 6 foot tall, I weigh roughly 85 kilos, and I often get asked how tall I am and is the bike cramped. So 6 foot tall, and no, the bike is not cramped. I've ridden this bike, I've covered 300 miles in a day, no bother, apart from a bit of a sore bum, like knees and back and the rest of it. Honestly, you can put up with it, you can tolerate it, no bother. Wind protection, people ask me about the fly screen, does it make any difference? I can't say if it does or not. I haven't actually ridden the bike without one, but honestly it's that minor, it probably makes no difference whatsoever. But it is a naked bike, so expect some wind blast at, you know, let's call it above motorway speeds. As for taking someone on the rear, well, it's not really ideal for somebody on the back, but I've had my girlfriend on it and I've travelled with her roughly 70 miles one way. You know, she's 5'6", 5'7". Won't say how heavy she is because she'll punch me, but I would say that if you do want to carry somebody in the back, more often than not, you would need to probably upgrade the rear spring. But honestly, I wouldn't buy this bike to carry a pillion on. It's not that kind of bike. So performance wise, and let's say fuel economy. Firstly, the fuel economy is very, very good. I roughly get 50 mpg. The fuel tank is 17 litres in capacity, and I would estimate a full tank would take you 150 miles, probably 200 miles if you were really conscious of trying to be efficient as possible. I don't sort of worry about the mpg, and I average 50 mpg, so I think that's really, really good. I've been out on many a ride out, and obviously people on litre bikes and what have you, they're filling up way before I need to, and I'm going just as quick. Triumph claim 121 brake horsepower, and it does feel like 121 brake horsepower. Now, I had this bike modified, I had a full exhaust system put on it, and I had it set up for that exhaust, and I was putting out 130 at the wheel, so it is up there. As for the mid-range, well, in standard form, it does lack ever so slightly for me. I felt like the bike does hesitate at times, so it could be improved there. But the power delivery, you know, being a triple, it's ever so smooth. The power delivery is quite linear. It's not very peaky, and it's obviously not very punchy in the mid-range. And I guess that's sort of in between, right? It's in between of an inline 4 and a V-twin. What I will say though is this bike does punch above its weight, and whilst it's a 765, don't be fooled into thinking that this won't hang with the litre class boys. Cost of ownership then. Firstly, the bike has to have a running service once the bike has done 600 miles. I had that done by a Triumph main dealership where I bought the bike from, and I only paid for the parts. The labour was free. That cost me £68. The bike then had its first annual service, which is obviously when the bike is a year old, or once you've done 6,000 miles, whichever comes first. That cost me £170. The rear tyre lasted me 3,500. I replaced it with a Pirelli Supercorsa, and that from memory was about £180. I've just had the bike serviced again because now it's 2-year-old. The bike has covered 4,500 miles, and whilst I had that carried out at an independent dealer, I also had the front Pirelli Supercorsa replaced as well at the same time, and that cost me circa £340. And so overall, over the 2 years, it has cost me circa £800. Also to mention that the road tax per year is £96. So then, my overall summary of this street triple. Well, the past 2 years with this bike has been an absolute pleasure. What a piece of kit. The bike is beautifully well built, it's easy to live with. However, I have to say that the bike is on the pricey side to maintain, especially if you have it serviced by a Triumph main dealer. So with that said, the bike does hold its value in the second-hand market very well. If you're looking for a proper, good middleweight machine, this bike has to be on your list. I rate this bike a good 8.5 out of 10, and I would absolutely 100% buy again. So I'm going to leave the video there, guys. I hope you found this one valuable. If you did, please let me know with a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you on another video very soon. Thanks for watching. See you later.